Hey, welcome back. This is Danielle Pierce, creator of Property Preservation Mastery. If you missed yesterday's video, go back and watch it. I think it's on like 6 or 7 minutes or so. And basically, we are, or I should say, I announced what we're going to be working on over the next several days or sharing information with you guys about. And that is one of our best kept secrets, probably our best kept secret. It is called Live Launch Summit. So, Live Launch Summit is a half-day group training event hosted by myself. It's designed to do two things and two things only. One, help you get your business together from start to finish, and two, obtain the required insurance. And it's really going to get you off the fence once and for all as to whether or not do I want to do preservation or do I not, because all the YouTube videos, all the articles, all the things that you are reading and watching and listening to, nothing will prepare you for it until you actually do it. And so while we can't just let you hop in there and just, kind of mess around and try some things, for free 99, we are willing to allow you guys to, at least learn more about this Live Launch Summit offer and see whether or not it's actually a good fit for you. So it takes you through the first 15% of the program. The actual program, which people pay $24.97 to attend, it's way, way cheaper than that. We'll get into the price in just a moment, but really I want to spend some time today talking about critical business mistakes to avoid. This is going to be good. So if you are in here, wherever you're watching, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and share button and leave some feedback below if you have experienced this personally or know someone who is falling victim to what I'm about to share with you right now. Mistake number one that I see, the DUNS number. So the DUNS number is being phased out. They've been saying that for a while. I haven't logged on to see when the actual date is that it's not going to be used anymore. But for right now, you can still get it. And the DUNS number is actually free. However, there's plenty of websites and plenty of, discount codes and coupon codes floating around the internet streets where they're like, oh my gosh, you can get 10% off today. Just use this discount code. And it works. And so the way that they have it on the DUNS website, the free option is kind of hidden. And I've had lots and lots of folks, just even people who've gone through Live Launch Summit will come back and say, hey, I only see this option to pay $229. I'm like, oh, you got to click over here and you'll be able to see it. So again, it's free. So this person here made a post in one of our Facebook groups that I'm in. She was like, hey, make sure you don't do this. I paid $229, but fortunately I was able to go and get my money refunded to me when I pointed out to the wonderful salespeople at Dun & Bradstreet that this number is actually free and I just want to go with the free option. So the way they sell this is they'll say something like, we can expedite it and, you just got to pay this $229 and we'll give you 10% off, or, they sell it a bunch of different ways. But in my experience, getting the DUNS number for free can take anywhere from, I've had people get it the same day, the same week. I've had other folks who they say they keep getting the runaround. I really think it depends on two things. How you talk to these people on the phone. Do you sound confident? Do you sound knowledgeable? Do you sound like someone who actually is running in or about to, set up a legitimate business, or do you sound scared? Do you sound uncertain? Do you sound like do you sound like a victim? I mean, I can't put it no other way. If they think it's sweet, they're going to hit you with, hey, here's this package that we have. But I'm telling you, and if this information ever changes, of course, I'll have to, eat these words. This number is free and you shouldn't be paying for it. All right. So that is one thing. I actually got kicked out of a Facebook group. No, this is a LinkedIn group a few years ago because there was a guy in there selling a package to get your DUNS tax ID number, and I think Sam's registration for like $700. And I, of course, am not mad about anybody selling anything, but I do feel like the people who pay for these kinds of things are the people who are least prepared financially, I think, to be able to afford it, if that makes sense. I feel like, it's predatory to a certain extent. So yes, you can charge for things. Yes, of course, your time is worth something. I'll say that until the day that I die. But I think if you're charging $800 for, things that literally take minutes to complete, if we're talking tax ID number and Sam's registration takes a little bit longer, if you're charging $800 for that, I do feel like it's a little bit predatory. So there's that. Now, people know that it's free and they want to pay for it. By all means, do your thing. But if for people who have no idea that it's free and you're just like, oh, I can get this done for you for the low price of $800, I tend to take a little bit of an issue with that. Here's another mistake that I often see. This is the SAM's registration. Let me make sure this mic is working, doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, we're all good. That's a new sound effect. All right. There we are. SAM's registration. So I actually just did a quick Google search on my MacBook, and I'm just curious to see how easy it is to find one of these websites that charge you for, again, SAM's registration, which is free. And this was on page 1 of Google, this company called Get Sam Now. It mimics the actual SAM's registration website, the way that it looks. And they say, hey, register or renew for only $2.99. Now, again, and then I didn't even bother calling because I just noticed it says expedited registration, call this number. I can imagine that's probably $5.99, but I haven't called them and I don't intend to. But again, this is page 1 of Google, maybe like the 3rd option down. And again, SAM's registration is a free process. And they actually say that over and over again on the real website, which we cover during Live Launch Summit. Of course, you can Google it as well. But it is super interesting that, this information is so readily accessible and available. And it's a little bit shady, right? So again, SAM's registration is free. And as a matter of fact, they did send me an email, which I got to hurry up and unsubscribe from. And the email address is admin@governmentservicesexchange.com. So it sounds real official, but this is just some BS. So you want to watch out for companies like this and sites like these where people are, charging you a few $100 for information that you can readily obtain by yourself. All right. So during Live Launch Summit, we actually cover multiple ways to complete your business registration at free or low cost. So of course, there's the Secretary of State's website. It's probably my preferred way if I had to pick one. It ain't free. You have to pay the Secretary of State's fee, whatever that is for where you live. So if you're in New York, I think it's $500. Cali is expensive. Illinois, I think it's down to $150. It was the most expensive in the nation. Indiana might be $105. Florida, Georgia, Texas. I mean, there's a bunch of obviously options. There's a bunch of range, a wide range in pricing. But yeah, you have to pay that fee. But outside of that, there's no additional fees. But we also cover some other options as well, which are both relatively low cost and free. And we cover that in detail inside of Live Launch Summit. Again, that's a half-day group training event hosted by myself where I walk you through screen by screen, line by line. You essentially follow along on your computer. Hopefully you have your debit card out and you are completing all those steps as I walk you through them on the screen. That's the ideal way to complete Live Launch Summit. It's easier to get things done in the moment versus coming back to it, a day, a week, or 2 weeks later, because you kind of forget some things or it just kind of goes lower in your priority list. So we cover that in great detail. Of course, we cover how to obtain your tax ID number. That takes about 3 minutes to do. And then we also, of course, talk about how to get your DUNS number. And I want to say I at least mentioned the SAM's registration process during Live Launch Summit as well. That's pretty easy to do as well. The thing you got to know about SAM's is I'll tell you one thing to watch out for. SAM's registration, technically, the way that the rules are written, it requires you to have an actual physical office space. That's what they tell you. Now, I do know folks who've been able to navigate through that process with like a virtual mailbox or like, those Regis buildings where you just have your mail sent there and you go pick it up. I've seen it work. I've seen it not work. So again, you're supposed to have a physical office space, but if you don't have it, you might be able to wiggle through without it. I don't know I think it depends upon how well the folks are paying attention, when they're reviewing your application. So that's just something to watch out for. I don't recommend you go out and get a physical office space to get the SAM's registration, but I'm just putting that out there as something that you may want to watch out for. They do have some of the Regis addresses flagged in the system. So just be mindful of that. All right, tomorrow we're talking about all things insurance, general liability, general liability, professional liability. We'll talk about, workers' comp and, whether or not you may need that. Check your email for an invitation if you're on our email list. If you're not on our email list, go to propertypreservationmastery.com, complete our short readiness assessment, and get on our email list. That way you'll get an invite to the next day's training. And also be sure to go back and watch the prior recordings as well. I do like to keep the videos short, sweet, and to the point. Comment below again if you've ever fallen victim or someone who has fallen victim to paying for a tax ID number, SAM's registration, or a DUNS number. And then if you found this information to be helpful, comment that below as well. All righty, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.